Ah, my good and dear friends. This is Londo Molare, and I'm watching the Bad News Bards on Tennessee Tabletop Tavern.
Well, hello, Cam.
Good evening.
How are you doing tonight?
Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, welcome everyone to the Tennessee Tabletop Tavern. Bad News Bards are in the house, rocking the house tonight, and we have some great guests with us tonight. So hopefully everybody's gonna sit back, grab a beer. It's all on Cam, so he's buying, and we're gonna we're gonna run with it. Uh, did you see I put the little sponsor thingy in there now? Did you catch that?
No.
No, you don't pay attention. The intro, you don't listen to me. Oh yeah, so I've got the little only crits thing in there. You could save 15%. Onlycrits.com. Use the code Bad News Bards. So you know, if you're looking for dice, man, they got some kick-ass dice. So
Cool.
any rate, all right. And yes, I do have one. I do have one. I could knock somebody out with this thing. Look at this. I was talking to my wife. I said, "Yeah, I need to get some of their dice." She's like, "Who made it?" I'm like, "Oh, only crits made it." So this is a D100.
Cool.
So
what are we doing on the show tonight?
so we have AgileMonk and Michael from FCW. And they've got some new thing coming out, I hear. He's been talking about it for a while. So I saw Jeff. It was nifty. Anyway, let's go ahead and bring them on. And I think that'll light things up there. Agile, Michael, welcome to the party.
Hello,
Greetings.
hello.
Hey.
Welcome.
Greetings and hallucinations.
Don't have the beer, but I'll drink a water.
Yeah. I got here last night. But Cam said he's buying, so
Oh, I mean, fair.
Right.
I mean, when in Rome or
When in Rome.
Tennessee.
Yeah. Tap water, please.
So oh, I'm here a little bit.
Go ahead.
Somebody let's see. Agile.
Yes, sir. That's me.
How are you doing tonight?
I'm living the dream, or as I like to say, I'm living somebody's nightmare, but it's currently my, or someone's dream, but it's currently my nightmare. So yeah.
Yeah. So you got a little video that we're going to show here in a minute, but
oh, cool.
I understand you have you have some project you're working on or something, right? I don't know.
That is correct. My fellow Castles and Crusades player
Death by Froghemoth. Thanks, Chuck.
Exactly. Thank you, Chuck. At least we saved, Kodo and Poto. We saved one of our ferrets. That was nice.
That's right. They're the only
Yeah.
survivors. They're the sole survivor.
They were this. Yeah, Kodo was the only survivor. So yep. Out of that whole event, the rest of us went down with the ship. So yes, we do. We have our Kickstarter coming out in May here on May 12th, and we're very excited about it. It's going to be 2 books plus a whole bunch of adventures and a whole bunch of other cool stuff and a whole bunch of free amazing things we're going to be giving out because it's while we've supported easily over 412 Kickstarters and about 75 backer kits. This is our first time going out there, and in the modern day, we've done stuff in the old days, but modern day of launching some new products ourselves from our combined Fantasy Companion Workshops company, which is made up of a bunch of veterans. We're a veteran-owned business, and with some of our favorite people in the hobby that work with us, and we've created a phenomenal team that we'll talk some about tonight, and we've created a whole new world for you, as well as a phenomenal book called Consortiums, which will show you in depth and literally teach you how to create some of the most amazing orders, secret societies, factions, guilds, cults, you name it, and not only teach you how to do it, but give some that you can drop into your existing world today, or you can use in the Xendria world. So we're pretty pumped. So if you're going to
sounds awesome. Yeah. Well, let's see if I can get that going here. I have it loaded, but I don't. It's always weird adding add a video. There it is.
Yeah, I don't know how you guys do all that. I just create TTRPG stuff. I don't try to be.
Introducing Wondrous and Dangerous Consortiums and the Xendria World Setting and Lore Guide. What is Xendria? Xendria is a world of conflict, and Xendria is a world of peace. A place of magic, of progress, and of loss. Delve deep into the lore and uncover the secrets that lie beneath. Xendria is a place where good meets evil. In this living world where old and new fantasy collide, the right choice isn't always clear. How will your choices change the landscape? Turn the page and tell your story. It's your world now. The Xendria World Setting and Lore Guide, supporting West Marches and Sandbox games. Wondrous and Dangerous Consortiums. Consortiums are the lifeblood of any thriving world, serving as the beating heart of societies shaped by vision and necessity. The ultimate toolkit for serious storytellers and game masters. Coalitions, cults, factions, guilds, mercenary companies, orders, and secret societies. Discover how to create consortiums that are not just background props in your stories, but central figures. Say goodbye to bland NPCs. Create unforgettable experiences beyond the table. Engage your players deeply with narrative-rich adventures that allow them to explore the intricate workings of the consortiums and their impact on your world. Ready to play adventures for each consortium complete with battle maps, character art, intriguing NPCs, mysteries and puzzles, immersive scene descriptions, dark secrets, and moral dilemmas. Unlock the secrets to living worlds and continuous conflict with Wondrous and Dangerous Consortiums and the Xendria World Setting and Lore Guide.
Well, is everybody there?
Oh yeah.
I am here.
What'd you think of that, Cam? That's
Looks
nifty,
pretty-
huh?
Looks pretty cool.
All right,
Let's learn more about it.
all right. Well, I know you like to start off with
That's right. I like to grill our guests with standard question because it makes it really easy on me and hard on you guys. So
Snake
Nice.
so the question I like to ask is how you got into role playing in the first place, your origin story, as it were. So who should we start with?
Oh,
And-
well, it'll be funnier, I think, if you start with me,
Okay,
because
sure.
my answer is obvious. I mean, it's Agile's fault.
There you go.
3 years old, learning 2 languages at the same time from an eclectic group of military people out in the middle of nowhere in Germany, and rolling dice and watching the figures move over the table where these guys have taken their dry erase marker and they've written on their maps and they're doing dungeon diving.
Around about okay. So are you serious? 3 or 4 years old?
Oh yeah, I know. It's look. I look. I'll be candid. Yeah, my son was, what do you want to call it, inflicted or what? But the truth is, with my gaming buddies, when we had time, my military buddies and friends alike, and he was literally at the table, and then literally with me, I was teaching him with miniatures on the ground, and we were playing early chainmail, early stuff like that. Just introducing him to that and having medieval figures there, rolling dice and all that. And between that and watching that great movie, The Land Before Time,
Oh man,
which he had, watched constantly.
I remember when that movie came out.
Yeah. So so bottom line is he was brought in at 3 and it just kept getting more and more and more and more. And since then he's gone on to do a lot with the hobby himself. But yeah, so that's how he got his start.
but after that, definitely, standard kind of high school, met a bunch of friends, and we all decided to play D&D together. 3rd edition was coming out at the time, and we all got way too into the splat books and the fun, but we decided that the quality wasn't really there when the OGL first started, and since then, year after year, I've just tidbits of research and trying to add ideas and concepts to my game, and here we are. So Agile.
Well, I mean, Michael's, about here to hit 40. So he, doesn't look it. He looks good. So guess what? I'm old. And so I literally started in 74 and started with OD&D, Chainmail Outdoor Survival I started with miniatures. Matter of fact, ironically, not only do I have the ODD box, but I have the original brown box of Tractics from Gary Gygax, which was a World War II miniature game, because I started kind of with miniatures, 7 Years' War, Napoleon, World War II, board games, Avalon Hill, and then got the fever. I got the fever. So
Yeah,
There was D10s instead of cowbell.
Yeah, exactly right. So I got the fever for that and started doing that, and then went through all the variations. But honestly, for me, I found my place in the world with AD&D First Edition. Today, AD&D First Edition is still my favorite all-time version, with Castle Crusades, my second favorite all-time game. And then my third all-time favorite game is Daredevils by Fantasy Games Unlimited. But then I could go on and tell you game after game after game. Matter of fact, Michael, when I was kind of struggling with the whole 3.3.5 stuff, I fell into the 3.75 rules, which are really Pathfinder.
yeah.
Pathfinder, and then later I finally just got tired. I gave Michael all my Pathfinder books, so he ended up with just bucket loads of those books, and then I went on doing what I like to do, and then when 5e came out, because there's a lot of reason, because I work with teens, I work with veterans in gaming and all that. So then I started. People wanted to learn. They wanted to learn the new versions, so I was teaching 5e, the 2014. But I also started, well, maybe this Pathfinder 2 looks pretty good too. So I, got into that some and picked that up as well. But if you saw, I mean, the office I'm in is surrounded by shelves going all the way back to the 70s to the 80s, from Harn to whatever. You can see that I am the mad scientist of TTRPGs, and absolutely lost my mind with the amount of stuff I have. So yes,
I'm working my way there.
Yeah. But I can say I own all versions of D&D, including 4E. Though honestly, when it came to 4E, I said, well, if I wanted to play World of Warcraft, I would just play World of Warcraft, which I did play EverQuest with my son, and then we got into World of Warcraft, so we did do some of that. But I really didn't get into playing 4E directly, so I stayed with what I loved. So.
Okay, you stumbled into a bit of a controversy there. You mentioned with OD&D and chainmail, which there has been some debate on whether chainmail was actually ever really used with OD&D or not. What's your experience with
Well,
this?
I can tell you from some of my experiences with having played with Guy Yaxwitz and Arneson also separately, mind you, and the early D and Dave Hargrave and the likes back in the day. I can tell you that chainmail absolutely was used in OD&D because how do you say this? Because I love Gary Love Arneson, but OD&D wasn't a complete game. So the truth is, things like chainmail, especially because we're already doing it for miniatures and the like, and then Outdoor Survival basically brought it together and created a better way to play the game. And then what you realized is that the way to make that game work is you had to make it your game, doing it your way. Mm-hmm. That's why when we ended up getting the monster manual and then later the player's handbook for the DM's guide, honestly, by then I was already doing Moldvay. I was doing the different boxing wings. I have BX, I have BECME, I have all that. But AD&D is where I just found my absolute love of the great Gygaxian language. And
Gygaxian.
The high Gygaxian. It was the GM's guide was just one of the most amazing teaching tools I experienced, and my friends and I, and we had such an eclectic group because we had people. I actually played with girls back then too, which that's why I always find it interesting because I had girls.
Imagine that.
I know. I had. I mean, my one group that I ran we had 2 Japanese guys who were Jewish. We jokingly referred to them as Jupanese. We had we had Catholics, we had Mormons, we had Baptists, we had white guys, black guys. Like I said, we had everybody there. We were a free for all of the cool people. And at one time, I was running West March's games the traditional way back then, where I had like over 50 players involved, but we had as many as a dozen playing at one time. And it was just the bomb. So yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm told by people born in 2010 that your experience is not true. So I'm just going to have to ignore that.
Okay.
That was impossible. It couldn't have happened.
Okay,
so
then on behalf of Devin,
what are they? 16 now?
Yeah. On behalf of all my friends back there that were that eclectic group, I apologize. Then apparently we didn't exist.
That's right.
Okay.
The 80s didn't happen.
Right. Well, okay. Now, let me delve a little. I know we want to talk about other stuff, but let me delve a little deeper into this chainmail thing because I've heard people like Rob Kuntz. He was clearly, there at the very beginning in with Gary and everything, and he, I believe he has said no, we never use that. And the question that came to my mind is, well, if you're playing with the creators of the game, it's like, are you sure that's not already baked in like prior to? What I'm saying, and that would be different than some third party.
How do they? In other words, it's kind of like that headcanon problem. When you're the first person to write a rule set, one of the first things you have to do to get it tested is give it to somebody who's never seen you write,
right,
and have them assess it. Because if you try to run it and you try to put the game together, it's going to have all those things that you've already baked into your head. So who knows what? And with all their tabletop wargaming experience, who knows what they already assumed into what was
exactly.
And Cam, to your point, I gotta make some statements here because I'm opening up my white box here, which inside of it has my not only the original dice and all the references and everything in it, but I also have my Blackmore supplement. I have my Greyhawk supplement. So I've got my Dave Arneson stuff. I got my Kuntz stuff, and quite frankly, depending on what we were playing, we leveraged some of that, especially with like the West Marches and we had battles, we were leveraging chainmail. And then Outdoor Survival from Avalon Hill was literally our head crawl tool for travel. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, but that's what we were doing. And it just varied, but it was also based on who was, for lack of a better word, refereeing, because back then it wasn't a DM or GM. We were referees.
Right.
Sure.
I've heard the word judges thrown around as well.
Yeah. Judges came a little bit more because of, ironically, Judges Guild, but
Right.
and that and
Games Workshop called them Arbiters.
Yeah, Arbiters, right. But
Yeah.
as a matter of fact, I have the original from the actual creators and founders, an original copy because I knew some of them, like Priestley and those. But I have the original Warhammer Fantasy game as a box set that was actually a role playing game.
Nice.
Wow.
So
So you started off with using miniatures, huh? You
Oh, yeah.
the war
see,
game mentality, that side of thing.
that's yes. So that's one thing I can say was unique is while we
Those old Ralph
definitely-
Hartha pewter figures.
yeah, exactly. We definitely did our fair share of theater of the mind. But the truth be told, as much as we could possibly get miniatures out from minifigs, and Ralph Parth and those companies, we did. I mean, so bottom line is the evolution of 70s into early 80s was, get our stuff out there and see what we could do visually because it made it cool. Now, granted, we used a lot of proxies for things too, because you can imagine, you may not have had a miniature for certain monsters and the like, but we found ways to do it.
Yeah. The reason I ask is because I played the last miniatures game I played was the first miniatures game I've ever used, or first game I've ever played with miniatures, and that was in November, and I've been playing since '85.
Okay. Wow, really?
And what game was that?
Never used minis. We always were theater of the mind. Now we don't know. Now, granted, we had whiteboards. We had, I discovered early on that wet erase markers are way better than dry erase markers for
Yes, they
stuff
are.
like that.
Mhm.
And I got I laminated all of my maps. Now, granted, I cut my my DMing teeth on third edition. I started before then, but really 3E and 3.5 for the most part. We never made the transition to Pathfinder. We never went to 3.75, as it were.
Right.
We tried one game of fourth edition and said, "Okay, we're taking a break." It was that bad. I said, if I want to play WoW, it's like WotC is always chasing the last big thing.
Right.
And trying to that's what, and maybe it's like because they're such a they're like a big aircraft carrier or whatever. They can't turn on a dime,
Right.
That might be part of it.
Well, do you want to hear something cool? I think Cam will get a kick out of this. So back in the day when I was in high school, my uncle was a printer. I mean, we're talking old school printing, like professional printer, right? And so one of the first things we delved into, me and some high school buddies, because TSR was looking for people to come up with concepts, we designed some character sheets, and we actually created these character sheets for our games, and we did them in these really thick paper that my uncle had at the print shop that were, basically like using the old Ibico binding, but it was the early versions of it. And we sold these books at our game stores and hobby shops and submitted to TSR, and they ended up taking a concept. But then the funny thing is they later came back and threatened us and told us to stop creating our stuff and selling it at stores because it was competing with them. But my friend, the Kimura brothers, which my friends, Devin and Kerry Kimura, the two Japanese kids / Jewish kids, they did the artwork for it. So we had these really cool knights on it. I've still got some of it that I keep in my historical stuff, but yeah, we literally did that. It was definitely my first run-in with TSR in high school.
Wow. Yeah, it's just one of those things where now I also started early on using a VTT, but I used a VTT in house. It wasn't for doing online. There's a free one. I still have it. It's still being worked on. It's open source, called Map Tool, and it's by RP Tools. Totally free. Anybody can download it. And what I would do is I would run one, and then I'd run a second instance, and that second instance then I would send out to my my TV. I mean, I had, remember the old console TVs, the big ones that
Oh, yeah.
were a piece of furniture. Yeah, I had a TV out card. back in the day, and I was sending stuff out to that, back in 2001,
Very tech.
2002, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, so all right. So this Kickstarter, when are you kicking off with the Kickstarter? May?
May 12th, which is a Tuesday, May 12th, and we're still deciding if it's going to be 10 a.m. Mountain Time or 10 a.m. Eastern Time. But because those are kind of sweet spots to do it. We partner with Troller Games to do work with them, and we ran into a timing issue, so we kind of worked out our dates with them, and we swapped our dates. We were going to be launching April 7th, and then but we switched with them to May 12th because they're doing the Mega Dungeon thing, and so we're since we're helping each other, we swap. So you'll see a big Kickstarter coming out with them with about 20 different companies for Mega Dungeon month that was supposed to be May but ended up in April now. So we moved to the 12th of May, which is good because we spent all of our time creating the product over the last 2.5 years.
Right.
So we're pretty much done. But we really didn't get into marketing. We don't have we're not YouTubers, we're not any of that. We're creators. So getting the word out is really important to us right now.
All right. So May 12th, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So that's a Tuesday. Launching May 12th. All right. I'm gonna put that down on here.
Yes, and we do have a pre-launch page we're testing, which you have, and then we'll have a separate Kickstarter page, obviously. But
well, if they save it, they'll and I don't know if you don't have anything yet. In fact, I could pop this open here. That is the QR code. I guess I should probably post it again in the chat too. I think that's it. Nope. Here. I'm gonna go ahead and post it. There's the Kickstarter link.
Oh wow, God, you've done, Jeff, you guys do all this
Thank
cool
you.
stuff. I just think that is so cool. You and Cam are really cool people. I mean, obviously I follow both your channels and support them, but you're always surprising me with the cool things you guys do.
Oh yeah. Well, we got to get those hip young kids, right? Those 16-year-olds off of.
You are too kind. Too kind.
That's funny. You were saying he started at what, 3rd edition 2000 or so. That's what got me back into gaming after a hiatus was Neverwinter Nights was coming, and so
for me it was the Baldur's Gate games.
Was it? Yeah, I had played the Baldur's Gate. I had played Baldur's Gate 1 and Baldur's Gate 2 and Icewind Dale and some of those, but Neverwinter Nights is like, oh, finally, because I'm an IT guy, right? I was an IT guy then, and I finally said, I'm going to kick off that there.
I never really did the Baldur's Gate stuff, but like I said, I did play EverQuest, ran a guild there, and then later went on to World of Warcraft. But the truth is, I love the table. I love there's nothing like a TTRPG for so many reasons, and with my history between the military and the agencies and the technology world, and just gaming has been a blessing and a lifesaver for me and many of my friends. So,
right. So, we've got a whole. You gave us a little bit of a document here to kind of go off on some questions. So tell me about the company that you started, Fantasy Companion Workshops. How long have you guys been working on this?
Well, basically, this is where it gets interesting, because the truth is there's been a lot of work going on to this for quite some time, because Michael and I have both been doing stuff, and we've done things throughout the hobby. I mean, I've been an officer in Historical Miniature Gaming Society, and I help there's so many things we've done, but Michael's worked with, the Iron Crown Enterprise Company, things with them, so famous, Rollmaster, which I brought to Michael early in his youth, and he fell in love with what many people call Master, but humorously. But this, for all intents and purposes, the majority of the work has taken place over the last 2.5 years on this. But there's been a lot of pre-work and a lot of stuff that went on before that, because we have another world that we've been doing for about 4 or 5 years that we even used to play in. We tested, and so it's been an ongoing evolution, but a life-changing incident. Basically, we decided to take the other company, the Agile Monks, and create fantasy companion workshops and kind of set it up, because the goal was, after having a life-changing event in my life due to a hospital accident and dying twice.
Well, don't do that. That's not good.
Yeah. So, and then being brought back, and then I realized, you know what, I gotta do something more about this, because I'm running out of time here. So the goal was, how am I going to leave a really good legacy for my son, daughter, and friends and all that? So I said, nope, I got to take this more seriously and start getting out there. So that's what we've been doing, and I'd like to think that we've got we're a veteran-owned company, and
both of you guys are vets, right?
Yeah, and one of our Dave is too, one of our other people.
Okay.
Dave
Thank
is
you guys for your service. I know you don't hear it enough, I'm sure, but
Michael's a disabled vet who was in Afghanistan, Iraq, and he had a TBI and also an eye lost, and has a fake eye thing he uses. So, and I've got we all have our injuries. Dave's probably in the best shape of all of us as far as the wounds and injuries, but yeah, we are that, and we're an all no AI art, no AI writing company, and we are all made in the USA, and our partners are all veteran-owned companies and the like. So we're all about kind of keeping it here, doing it here. We pay all of our freelancers. We work with them. We take care of everybody, and we have an interesting model that we're bringing to the hobby, a very open license, if you will, which we'll talk about later as we get into the Kickstarter, because we want to help build the hobby again and bring independent creators to life, and really see more and more of that done, because there's so much out there and there's so many more people getting into it, and we want them to see that there's more than just D&D. And if they want to bring their creative ideas, there's a way to get out there in the hobby and jump in and create stuff, and we want to help them. Right.
Well, so who are you looking at for printing? Are you? I'm sure you've been working at this for a while. I know. I talk to you all the time, and yeah. What are you? You're looking at a local domestic printer, I presume.
Oh no, we already have. Yeah, we already have our printers lined up. We partner with 2 printers already, and they're both U.S.-based printers.
Good.
Depending what we're doing with them and the like, including other things that we're also providing and such. So yes, we have them. That's already done. We've already got. Matter of fact, just to show you how serious we are, because we really wanted even paper to be in the U.S., and because that's kind of challenging. A lot of paper gets brought in overseas. Well, last fall, I literally put a down payment on paper to make sure we got U.S.-based paper pricing and support for our books. So, I mean, we've, like I said, everything, our artists have all been paid. Everything's been paid. I mean, we've created all this, and we're coming at it with a realistic initial, goal too for the Kickstarter. We're not playing that, $1,000 so we can say we funded in 1 minute thing. We're being
people do that.
Yeah, and we're being very transparent about every bit of it. So
yeah. Well, that's good. Let's see. All right, so you've got. I know you've got some questions in here, and if anybody has any questions in the chat, let us know, man. We'll be happy.
Yeah, we got some exciting things to share with you too. I mean, one thing I mean we're proud of, and is we're proud of the. Well, I mean, Michael, why don't you? Here's what I'd love to do, because I'm very proud of my son, and for a lot of reasons. But one of the things that I really enjoyed is Michael came out and traveled out to where I live when I was recovering after being intensive care, and home in bed rest and in a hospital bed at home, and from these injuries. And he came out and stayed with me my wife went on a family vacation with her family, and one of the things we got to do is we got to work directly on this. But he was logging all the information in the database and all the knowledge we have from all the research we used to build all the historical, and I say historical, or you can call it fantasy hysterical knowledge on the data we used to build out all these consortiums. So Michael, why don't you talk about that and the depth of what went into that? Because that's why the Consortiums book is so amazing.
Well, thank you. So this is actually a lot of topics we ended up wanting to cover, but we said, hey, we've got to focus. We have to pick one thing. What's one thing we'd really like to see better in the community, the TTRPG community? And I said, it'd be really nice if we could lower the barrier to entry for publishers, for people who want to write novels, for people who just want to publish their own adventures or their own systems or whatever. Well, I think there are plenty of systems out there already. Who knows? Someone else may come up with a cool idea if they get out there. But one of my common complaints, and I was seeing this in my Rollmaster group, where we had some people, and it kind of depended upon where did they have their previous experience of role playing. Were they doing other TTRPGs, or had they come from MMOs? And they had very divergent experiences and expectations, and how they drove the story.
Right.
And you would see people coming from MMOs, you could see the limitations of the programming made it so that they didn't really interact with NPCs other than, oh, well, that one has a, it's got a quest icon. Let's go. That's the spooky guy in the tavern. Surely he's got something interesting for us to talk about.
Right.
And so we wanted to raise up that two-dimensional feel of boring
tropes.
NPCs. Yeah, the tropic characters. And the thing is, here's the thing: tropes are wonderful tools.
Sure.
Use them as a jumping-off point because familiarity does help us engage and feel that sense of immersion. But you need to take it many, many steps past that. And a consortium, we opted for the fancy word because we decided if the book was called Organizations, people might forget the book instantly. So consortiums is a cool. And I examined. I said, okay, well, what are these institutions? And they are all subsets of your political geoscape.
Right.
So for example, a mercenary company, it's not an army, and it's not necessarily just like an adventuring party, but it is some sort of organization, a consortium, if you will, that focuses around the idea of selling hired and self-source services. And that can, depending on the degree of fantasy, how much magic is involved, can be tailored inside of there. A cult is a lot of times a subset of spiritual, religious, or magical groups or entities.
Right.
And all of these consortiums are described as a variety of these subsets and how they would fit into society, what their bases of power would be, how they can be integral to a story, and also how they can make your story make sense. If you have a number of, say, noble houses, these are factions, right? Occupying a cityscape, they're going to be either working together or at odds with each other or a combination thereof all the time. And they shouldn't feel static. If a party returns to that town and has been doing favors for one group, it should affect them. If you did something that helped this group, that might be to the detriment of this group. You're not going to always make friends everywhere you go. And this is what's going to help you describe these concepts. So what we have done, and thank you, Davina Duckworth. Davina Duckworth, yeah. I would say that it is. AgileMonk and some friends have done a great job building it. We will discuss Xendria in particular here in just a moment. But one of the things that we were able to do is when we wrote the Consortiums book, we also wrote the Xendria book in tandem so that all the places and locations that are described in one are represented in the other. This way, it's really easy to pick up a consortium and say, oh, these are the obvious plot points that I can introduce to my players. I really want to grab this one and introduce this as a hook. And that can help players get more involved and make the story more memorable.
Okay. We've actually got pretty good group there in the chat tonight. Here's your response, Agile. Yeah. We definitely are going to get into Xendria. But the consortiums, what would you equate it to, say, from what everybody's familiar with? Would you say it's kind of like the DM's guide that never was?
In some ways. So I have seen, especially in ages past, in like the old Mongoose publishing days, and really really early Green Ronin items, you would see these floating books, these supplementary books that would come around. They'd be like, "Hey, D100 factions or cults for your next game session," and it has these. Agile does a really good job at explaining. Like, it'll just be pages upon pages, but it's like 20 pages with 100 different organizations, and it's usually like a name, a couple of details, and then maybe a paragraph, maybe. And that's not enough. I mean, that is a brainstorm. That is a brainstorm. That is not a written, fleshed out, living, breathing group, collective power source, vacuum, what have you. Not even close. Think of this is much closer to, I don't really like the phrase masterclass as much because it sounds a little hoity-toity, but it's a design toolkit and essentially a set of instructions in a class on how to write consortiums, organizations, institutions for your world. And again, it's both written totally system agnostic, written for both novelists as well as TTRPG individuals. We do have some cartel-like evil entities indeed. and one of the reasons
I mean, you know, every world does, right?
Every world's got to have one.
Oh yeah.
Got to have your
Well, Jeff, maybe you could. Are you able to bring up the PDF that shows some of the
consortiums? Yeah, give me
the sample and read ahead.
Yeah, because Michael will find it. It'll be a lot easier for Michael to call out some things that way, you know, and explain it that way.
Yeah, let me.
Too. And while he's doing that, if you don't mind, I'll keep talking.
Yeah, keep going.
Go ahead.
So as for the Xendria world build out, it is fairly well fleshed out. However, there are many well-established details, but there are also spots in every single section that are deliberately left with enough of a gap for anyone to come in and insert their own writing, add more organizations or insert parties for a West Marches campaign, and so on and so forth in there. So yes, they are built out, but they are also left with clear plot hooks and holes and vacuums to be filled. And they're well called out in there.
Okay, this is the
Thank you.
document, right? This is the one you're talking about?
Yeah, that's the one. Yep. That's the read has some of the read ahead stuff. So by the way, real quick. So this book, we're only going to show you parts of it for obvious reasons. But just so you know, this book is completely done through layout and design. It's done. It's now just waiting for the final legal from our attorneys on our open gaming license and a few other minor things to do, and then it'll be locked down for the printers. The Xendria World Book is in layout and design right now, but all this stuff's written and done. Matter of fact, both the books will be completely finished when we go to the Kickstarter. So what's nice is when we actually, you know, once we get funded and all that, then you'll be able to get PDFs fairly quickly of them, depending on what you purchased. You'll really just be waiting on the printed books to show up once we send them to printers. So we'll be delivering pretty fast.
Okay, so that's so once the Kickstarter's over with, and are you running a typical 30-day? Is that what your goal is? Okay, so that'll finish up sometime early June. And
yeah, I think it goes to June 10th through 11th, depending on how you look at the 30 days. But yes.
Yep. And then that's going to finish up. And how long after June do you anticipate?
So it's really based on the printers and the timing. Printing, for those who don't understand, even it's still quicker domestically. I mean, overseas it can take up to a year and a half, but domestically we hope to have our printers done and our fulfillment done within 6 months, because we're also going to be, well, there's so many things we're going to be giving away extra we haven't even talked about yet. We'll wait to get into that. But yeah, you'll be getting, like I said, but the bottom line is we should have it all wrapped up within 6 months, but you'll be able to use it almost instantly upon completion.
That's awesome. So and it's going to be available digital and print, right?
Yes, you get digital and print.
PDF, soft cover.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay,
and then we'll get into some of the other tidbits about how this will be delivered when we talk about the Kickstarter itself.
Okay. Where did you want me to look at here first?
So if you wouldn't mind, just zoom out one layer Like one tick. Perfect.
Yeah,
Okay, thank
yeah.
you. So we're gonna cover a couple of pages between the introduction and development chapters. That gets us to page 66, which is these first two chapters cover what are consortiums, why do you care, why are these part of your world, and then how to write them and how to incorporate them into your world. And I give a comprehensive overview of how one can examine the different facets of an organization and steadily build it up. And you can go as crazy or as homogenous or put together, organized or disruptive as you want, and it gives you ideas on how to do this for every single each of the 7 consortium types that we described, even sometimes helping you understand how one event can be viewed through a lens by one type of organization and a completely different lens for another.
Yeah.
So yep, thank you. Yeah, those are the 7.
Yep. Coalition, cults, factions, guilds, mercenary companies, orders. Okay, religious, I guess. Yeah, and then secret societies. No, there's societies with secrets. Don't you know?
Yes, there are. Ooh.
Ooh. And if
We've got
if
a
you could
secret.
scroll on through,
I may or may not have traveled.
and we're really, really happy with the layout and design, and especially some of the amazing artwork that you're going to be scrolling through. And as we go through this, just keep on going. I want to put it back in people's minds, as Agile mentioned a minute ago. All of this is meant for people to use, and
Right.
use it for yourself, use it for your hobby, use it for your own publication. That's going to be the point of this, is that we want people and other TTRPG enthusiasts to be able to have better tools and access to build things, and more conveniently so.
I mean, you start right off here talking about using it in adventures.
Right away.
You want people to use this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, because even if we think about novel writing, what happens in a lot of fantasy novels? It's an adventure, right?
Yes.
How that adventure takes place can vary considerably, but it's still an adventure. It's just an adventure where you're directing all the characters at once instead of some or most.
Yeah. The gateway to the world, to a world. Yeah, I love that.
So, and now we have, for each of the consortium types, we create 2 example consortiums. Again, drag and drop these into your own world, drag and drop these into your book, rewrite parts of them and swap out your art. Use the art.
And let me interrupt Mike real quick, but folks, to be clear, each one of these 14 that have been fleshed out, these are in multiple pages, multiple NPCs, multiple everything. I mean, they are living and breathing. And what's nice is not only do they integrate with Xendria world, but plot arcs, player arcs, adventure hooks, all that are tied into it. And guess what? Every one of the 8 adventures that we'll be giving out all are tied into both the world and the factions. So they integrate them all right out of the gate. So you can use them in your world or this world, but they're all tied together. So I mean, you immediately have a game to start day 1 with this.
So you're basically you're not only saying, hey, here's the idea, and this is how you use it.
Yes.
This is how you would put it in your game.
And that's what we wanted to do. So the books cover, here's your foundation, here's how to use it, here's what it looks like, and then there will be a follow-on book that's an additional PDF for each. For Agile, it's the player's guide to Xendria and the West Marches campaign.
Mhm.
For the Consortiums book, it'll be the workshop. It's not just, it'll have a PDF with your form fillable pages, but it also have hey, we're going to walk through this line by line. We're going to go through this segment by segment and figure out how we can come up with one of these organizations and make it work in your world.
Yeah.
And we'll talk through it in a step-by-step fashion. We're going to tell them what we want to tell you. We're going to tell you, and then we're going to cover it again so you really have it.
Yeah. Oh wow, look at this art. This is some awesome art here.
And we put together a fantastic crew of artists, some truly legendary names, as John will go, or excuse me, as no, not John, Rick Hershey here, and then to more newer artists, such as some map artists that will be involved in. There's a map that accompanies each of the consortiums, so that you have a headquarters location, some sort of place that the players can come visit and see it come alive and in action. And we have lots of other artists, including Elixir, who did that introduction video, and you'll see her art in here as well.
Yeah. Here's some more.
So now we get on to a snippet. This is a snippet of the development chapter. This is where we actually go over describing how to build the elements of your organization. One of those is obviously leadership. This is part of the structure of your organization. Who is leader? Who are the leaders? Depending on how old your organization is, the current leaders may not be the original founders. Could be if they're a supernatural or very long-lived being. But that will ultimately describe a lot about how they might be. A founder who has continued to be the leader might have maintained the vision, but a new leader could change the vision, especially depending on their personality.
Yeah.
Please.
And you talk about the archetypes, the styles, the impact that they have. What on?
Yes.
So go ahead.
So let's talk about impact really quick. You've seen this if you've ever watched a show like Game of Thrones or anything else that depicts kind of political medieval times. You will see sometimes you have a leader that they're iron-fisted. They take things, they're directly involved in everything, but maybe they don't have much of a vision. They don't have a lot of outer vision. You might have a more visionary leader. They lead through just that cult of personality, and they drive people towards to be motivated towards accomplishing whatever they want the nation's goal to be. But then sometimes you have the ineffectual figurehead. Yes, they're technically wearing the ring and the crown for their faction or what have you, but they're not well educated, not very confident, or they're beset by so many enemies that they can't make good use of whatever power base they should have.
Yeah. Let's see here. Adaptability, growth. You go into quite a bit of information here.
Well, it's because it is the Xendria world is a world constantly living in conflict because between evil and good. And so the reason you see so much of that depth is because between the adventures, the Consortiums book, the world book, everything is living and breathing, meaning these groups are always doing something. And when you get into the world book and you read about the cities and locations, you'll see by all the different things we provide in there, all the different activities that are going on and happening. So the world's going to be moving, and the GM's going to be able to keep the world constantly moving regardless of what the players are doing. So it's not static. That's the whole point. You don't want a static world.
The world, it's not something that it just, and I think that's something that a lot of people want to impress upon, or they're looking for a world that is dynamic, not a static set in stone thing.
People still play in Living Greyhawk because of this reason. People play in organized play like Paizo's in Glorantha because of this. They want to see the world progress and grow. And that was just a tiny snippet. That just covered writing your leader. Jeff, 66 pages of this.
Scroll up just a little bit now, Jeff, because scroll the other way. No, go back. Yeah, bring this up. Now, something that is really amazing. Now we're looking at chapter 5, guilds, and you're going to talk about the two guilds. But look at these charts we provide, because there's something really special about this. Okay? Because we cover, and I'll let Michael get into it, but the truth is we cover every aspect of wealth, their power, their political power, their wartime capability, all that. So Michael, why don't you show them what these little dials we have are?
So again, we wanted to focus on not only bringing down the barriers to entry, to publication, to writing, and getting all these things, but we also wanted to make sure that we bring down the barriers to play. So each of these organizations is represented with these quick at-a-glance graphics that gives you a sense, along with the rest of the information in that ribbon. Hey, is this organization, is this consortium, in this case, are one of these guilds, would this be an appropriate guild for me to introduce into the game? Okay, well, I'm not looking for somebody who's got a lot of militaristic might. Okay, well, that makes sense. Neither guild is particularly military. That's probably more of a mercenary company thing. Oh, well, the one on the left, they're more politically inclined. Oh, but the one on the right, they're all about the money. Okay, let's go play with, pick one or the other. In this case, we're going to be exploring the Astrologers Guild here in the next several pages.
Yeah.
And we're going to show you what we mean when we say we've written an organization that is ready for play into the world. And part of this and how we're going to provide the materials is all of the images will also be in separate files, also be in VTT ready files, ready to go again, so that you can print them out, make use of them, repurpose them as you need to.
Yeah. Okay. So here we're into the Astrologers Guild.
So the Astrologers Guild, it takes diviners, soothsayers, fortune tellers, clerics, all the different groups in a high fantasy medieval setting that would have access to otherworldly, extraplanar, supernatural information and possibly prescience into the future. Well, how would that make sense in a world? How would they exist? Well, as a political body that supports the home factions for their city, Sherazad, wherein they help keep everybody safe from external conflicts by guiding them through potential battle or battles and wars, trying to keep them out of wars, or if they have to go into battle when the weather's in your favor.
And Sherazad's an amazing city too.
Oh, yes. The maps that we'll be showing you later are going to be absolutely gorgeous. And just please keep scrolling through. So we describe one of the big pillars is the history. Yeah. Where you came from will help explain where you are now. And sometimes people can say, having all this extra lore, sometimes it's just self-flagellation, right? It's for your own fun. Well, yes, but also it gives you an anchor into the world. It gives you a way to, what happens when a player wants to make that knowledge check, right? And they're like, well, what do I already know about this? What can I study? Or they get access to a library and they go to read and learn. Well, they can find out these facts that might help them better understand or get into that organization, whether that's as friend or foe.
Yeah.
Significant events. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say it also gives you an infinite supply of hooks.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
I mean,
I want to take this as an example. Thank you for saying that, because I want to take this as an example right here. So can you scroll down so we can see the significant events all kind of together? There we go. Okay. So what about this Binding of Fates treaty? Okay, we know it's supposedly in the past, and it was based on some work the guild had done. But where's that treaty now? What does that treaty mean now? Bam, right there. That question. A plot hook should usually begin as a question. What question can we possibly allow the players to answer, or could they explore, even if they don't get maybe the answer, as a consequence of this? Okay, well, this is in the most recent part of their history. Maybe they're going to go and try to do some research and find out what really happened in that treaty. Yeah. Maybe it's exactly what it says. Maybe there's something subversive in there that's going to catch everybody in the butt later.
All right, and then of course the internal structure is the.
Now we go on to internal structure. This is how are they composed? How do they report to each other? How do they facilitate communication? Do they have a hierarchical structure, or are they decentralized and dispersed? For guilds, we might expect things like a place or a level structure, like modern people with apprentices, journeymen, and masters in a tradescraft. We have the same here for the Astrologers Guild. We have different varieties of astrologers, but they hold different ranks depending upon their approach to it, whether or not they're a fortune teller or a divination cleric or what have you.
Right.
And going with this, we always want to understand that there can be the goals of an organization, and there can be the goals of leadership, and then there can be what the members actually get out of it. Because the average lay member is probably getting, oh my gosh, absolutely. Ilmet and Lankbar is fantastic for sudden changes in story. Thank you for that comment, Chris Moneymaker. Absolutely. Oh, Faffer and the Grey Mouser is great stuff. You can take each of these goals and you can say, okay, well, where are the threads happening? If an NPC introduces a plot hook to one of the party members and they bite on it, well, is it actually working for the guild, or does it kind of do something just for that person to gain power within the guild? you can make these decisions, and that will help the players feel like, oh, they've actually really got to engage when they're learning more about the world. They've got to pay more attention. Like, am I being used, or is this actually going to help me? Almost everybody's got an angle, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Davina's got a comment. Her gang of gnome cynics earned the wrath of the Astrologers Guild by disproving.
Your crystal ball is bull. We're going to get a barometer.
That's funny.
Fantastic. And hey, that there are two guilds in Xendria that are labeled, and one is much more science oriented and one is much more magic oriented. Will one prevail? So yeah, please continue. We also have once again fantastic art. This is going to be a recurring character that you will see. Alara Dreamweaver also introduces the Kickstarter when we get to the Kickstarter pre-launch page.
I think I put her
I think you put her up there.
in my intro.
Yeah, you had her in the intro.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I'm like, oh, that's just too good to not have in there.
Yeah.
Let's see. So she is what is her name? She's
Alara Dreamweaver.
Alara Dreamweaver. Yep.
And we have, so usually the current leadership gets the most amount of backstory and explanation with them. But in the case of these, we also really liked some of the different leaders and their leadership styles as they were coming out. So we tried to describe an organization where we have many leaders who have to attend to many different matters, and they might not even be dealing with each other's purview at any given time. So one leader might be off trying to stop a war, and others going, well, there's that upstart necromancer down there. Can't be messing with them bones.
Yeah. These are, I'm guessing these are basically tarot cards.
So taken from looking at it like astrological signs embedded into tarot cards.
What do you call them, Agile?
I said they're magical tarot cards, but yes,
magical tarot cards. Yeah.
I
he was trying to throw up jazz hands.
Yeah, jazz hands, right? Well, it's because there's some interesting power going on with them. That's why. So yep.
No, that's kind of cool. Well, I saw the Fool, the Warden, the Noble. Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. So
this is pretty awesome here.
And again, we're just looking at one consortium.
Well, and it also talked. Well, and then you could talk. What services do they offer? What do they make?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, just keep going here, because there's a couple we're going to show you that. I mean, they're not simple. These are very in depth, right down to the ranks and structure and titles they get. Yeah,
and one of the things we want to cover, like with, as Agile pointed out, that services bit on the side there. We want to make sure that the organizations make sense within the context of their world. Where the heck do they get their money? How the heck do they keep everything together? How could they possibly recruit people into their midst? Things like that. You have to be able to describe how they interact with the world at large. They're not an island. Even if they are on an island, they still got to go fishing.
Still got to go fishing. There's your ranks with the soothsayers. There's 3 ranks: initiate, adept, and master. Do you pretty much, and that's
for the soothsayers. Then there's the weather seers. They have their ranks too. Yeah, and then there's the rangers and wayfinders. They have their ranks. Yeah, so the oracles.
And you'll notice that they get different amounts. So the rangers and wayfinders, they're kind of part of the guild. They get an honorific title, but they're mostly there to send out to do the literal legwork that the other people that like to live in the urban environment don't want to do.
Yeah. Okay. And then you've got, of course, the astrologers.
Yep. And they all have their rituals, their traditions, their cultural stuff. I mean, it just, yeah.
And that's where we get into membership and culture. And this is what's life like for the people. This is for everyone outside of leadership. So you might have the leadership visionary who's out there saying, we're going to take over the world, or we're going to save the world, or whatever. And that's great. But what is life like for the individual people? Do they have to wear certain uniforms? Can they be recognized a certain way? Do they have secret ways to recognize each other? What observances do they have? Holidays, special festivals? Do they only eat certain things? These are common things we've seen in the real world. We should also recognize these when we look into our gaming and our TTRPGs. that last D&D movie that came out when they bring up the Red Wizards and the Thayans, and it's very obvious that they live very differently. They're covered in different tattoos, very different vibe and look. But other than hearing the term Red Wizard, you would have to be playing in Forgotten Realms to actually get all the rest of that. The film can only touch on it for a few seconds and mostly costuming.
I was gonna say I probably know a lot more about the Red Wizards than they covered in the movie.
Oh yeah, by far.
And especially the Harpers.
Oh yeah, and I mean they did cover a little bits and tidbits about the Harpers, and it was really cool. They name drop, and they have a good time. But this is where you can.
And I have my own Harper's pen. I even have my own Harper's pen. So yeah.
Do you have a heart?
You can drop these details in every session until the point where a player might recognize you say that a character is just out there when you're describing a crowd, and that's when you've hit the success. When that level of flare up recognition, it's like the pixel artist test. What will a pixel artist tell you is if you can take away all the color out of your shape and still see that that's Sonic the Hedgehog, you did it. Yeah. That's when you nailed it.
Let's see, traditions, rituals.
Keep going. There's keep.
Yeah, you got a bunch more stuff here. Relationships.
Yep. Alliances. Keep going. Oh yeah.
Come on, baby. You have to talk about their relationships with other elements, the empires of the world, the farmers of the world, the other consortiums of the world. Are they friends? Are they foe? Do they ever work together? Do they ever make pacts? And this is again where I was mentioning we have like a headquarters or facility map, some sort of place that's special to the organization that that gives a way to approach them and visit them.
And let's be clear, when you get these books, you also, and this is going to blow you away, but you get all of the digital maps provided to you as digital files that you can use completely as well. We've got some VTT support for the NPCs and the like. So, and we'll talk more about that in a minute, but yeah, we've got support for that. And then when we get into the maps, when I share that, it'll blow your mind what you get with the maps. So
yeah, this is the last page of that. I can certainly bring up the one of the maps if you'd like.
Yeah. Why don't you bring up the world map of Xendria first? Because what I can do is with that map up, I can give a bit of an overview about what's in it.
Let's see. Give me just a second to bring that up.
Just a little bit of what goes into Xendria. So,
and this will help create that crossover where we show how the Consortiums book and the Xendria book line up. And I'll talk while you're bringing up the image. Again, this Kickstarter is primarily featuring two major products, two books, one for the Consortiums, your class and world building toolkit on writing, verisimilitudinous, if not outright realistic, groups that can interact with your players and your story and your plot. The other book is the world guide, filled with maps, filled with adventure ideas, filled with history and lore. And the two come together constantly in lockstep. So, but written with just enough gap that it's very easy for you to fill in whatever details you would like to make it work.
All right, let me switch this one here. Let me see if we've got anything. Just no AI. Okay. Let's see.
Yes. By the way, we are an absolute no AI writing, no AI artwork company, and I can tell you we fight it with tooth and nail, and we've had to fight a few people and let them go that we've caught them. So we're very much strong about that. So strong mindset. So let me know when the world map comes up, and then we'll talk a little bit about the Xendria world. Or while you're getting it up, I can actually just kind of start it off. So with the world book, a couple things are going to happen. When you come into the world book, and this is the world of Xendria, and there's a couple things I want to really call out in this map in a second, because it's going to be very important as we get into the world. So this world map is built because of having played so long and been around. We took the approach that this is a map that would have been created by sages and map maker, cartographer, sages, and wisdom people showing kind of a world, a big giant world with a bit of scale, but obviously certain things are blown up and you see locations and stuff with different identifiers, but they're very unique to them because they're trying to call it out, meaning the sage and the person who did this is trying to tell a story of where all these things are, give you an idea about the terrain and what's going on there, but not to that level of detail that we're going to get into as we get in the city. So it kind of lays the groundwork for the world and what's going on throughout it and brings a view. But for example, if you look at that center mass mountainy like mass there, that's called Cathedral. That is one of the biggest underground dwarven communities known to mankind, so to speak. And we're going to show you a map of that will probably blow you away. So far, it's blown.
Try to keep a mental image of this.
Yeah, because that's this big area that survived the scouring and the plagues and all this stuff and destroyed most of that area that's now brown, and how these dwarves went underground and what they did building in this big mountain range, an underground city. But let me cover the book. So the book comes off with a kind of an introduction of purpose that teaches you, says, hey, here's what you can do with this book. You can jump right in if you want. You can take stuff from it if you want. You can jump right to the appendix chapters if you want to learn how, because one of the things we did here is we actually cover how you actually run sandbox environments, and we provide an entire chapter teaching you hex crawls, point crawls, everything, how sandboxes work, what they came from, the history of them, and how they come together and how to benefit from them, how to make them living and breathing. We also talk about West Marches going back before, even though someone tried to say that they coined it a few years ago, which isn't true. It's been around a long time. But we cover how West March campaigns work, how you can run multiple players, how you can have multiple GMs. We have a whole full chapter teaching that. So that's included in the book. But then when you get into the book, you get into Xendria's creation mythos, the first world, the second world, and the celestial war, the third world, and the divine contract. We get into the gods. We have the protector deities and the destroyer deities, because in Xendria, you can choose. Do you want to take a heroic path and fight evil, or do you want to take an evil path and destroy the world? I mean, you can go either way here because there's just as much good and evil out there. You can play either way because some people, they want to be able to do that. And there's always been that debate for years of, well, no, you can't have bad players because we all have to be good guys trying to solve evil. Well, you can be more flexible here. You can, what you just got? Oh, so I just saw a note from Chris. Okay, so then we get into the world of Xendria. We get in the brief history of the Dark Age Empire, the Dark Age, the Founding Age, the Age of Upheaval. We get into the species and the dangers there, and then we get into these detailed chapters, one for each continent: a continent for Belendria, the continent of Karsten, and the continent of Valsteel. And inside there, we dig down where you get to see all these key cities and locations, whether they're a city that's destroyed by the scourge and trying to rebuild, to a major city, to a town, to a temple area, whatever. And that's where you get these maps. And within that, we provide, so that way you can make some of your own stuff, we provide 30 maps of cities, towns, and the like. We provide 5 variations of each map, so you can basically see them during different times of year and different looks and views, so that you can pick the one you want to use. The book will show a copy of the map, but you'll get the digital file. So guess what? You're going to get 150 digital maps from us built at 8K. Hear me, people? 8K resolution. So in a second here, no, not this one. This one's like a 4K. But go back.
Yeah, but this one is still pretty.
I mean, really good.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a small file.
No, it's not. Now go ahead and let's go ahead and call up the Cathedral map, Jeff, if you could.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Because I'm going to show you what it's like to take a map, and then you can hit the button. So see this map right now before we even blow it up. That's Cathedral. You saw that on the world map. What that is that's the mountains cut off. What we've done is we've cut off the tops of the mountain so you can see inside the city and actually see what's going on inside this underground city that has rivers running into it, has fire running into it, everything. Now, as he blows up, look what can happen. Now, keep look at the level of detail you get when you start to blow that map up. Okay, so Jeff, go up. Yes. So look at. You can still blow it up. See what I'm saying?
I mean,
Look at the level you can bring that map to. All right. Now move up some, Jeff, to this higher area. You're going to see oops. You're gonna, you're, oh, no. Oh, that's, we'll talk about Velestria in a minute. Yeah. Go over.
oh, hang on a second.
Okay. Because you're going to see this Coliseum, this underground Coliseum, and I want to show you something that kind of proves my point. So no, go to the middle there. Oh, nope.
It's
Okay.
Yeah.
So go to that middle section with that Coliseum right there. Yes. Now, as you scroll in and let it blow up, here's what's really cool. You see that grating over the top of it?
Yeah.
That grating is there to protect the rocks that fall down from the mountain when earthquakes happen, so it doesn't get into the Coliseum and break everything.
but never mind the people's houses.
Yeah, I know. But that's because this Coliseum has some very important parts of it that are extremely valuable to the culture and the world. So but just think about that. You see that level of detail?
Oh yeah, I saw the grading and I'm like, wow, that's just impressive.
Yeah. So this is something we really. So to me, it's like now you can take that and you can do what you want with it, because let me share another special thing about our world. If you as a creator, if you buy this product and you want to take any of our maps, any of our factions, any of our world stuff, anything out of either of these two books, and you want to go create your own product with it, all you have to do is say, give basically credit to Fantasy Companion Workshops for the use of it, but you can take any of our stuff and go use it to build your own product and sell it absolutely free of charge from us. The only thing we don't let you do is you just can't take like our maps and sell them as a map bundle, because that's not creating a new product. Okay.
Yeah.
That's just taking our work. But so you can create whatever you want. And if you like the work and we think the work looks good, we will help you actually get published and get in print if you want, because we run a portfolio management and collaboration site where we'll help you as a small creator organize and plan and develop all your product out so you can launch your own stuff.
Yeah. Let's see here. And
so why don't you grab? Just take a dive into some of this.
these are not the high res maps either, right? That I've got. These are. I don't even know. Are they four? Did you say they're 4K?
Yeah, you end up getting them at You get them at 4K, but yeah, they're all 8K. I mean, there's some that I can't. Like we have this one city. No joke, it was destroyed. So you see the upper city. You get a map of it, Leith, and now these drow have taken it over. These dark elves. So what happens is on the top you get this old city that's trying to recover, but then you get another map that's completely underground because the drow have built all these underground passageways and areas that connect together as they've now gone underground to live.
Yeah. Wow.
So
let me ask you this. Are these going to be available as printed maps as an option?
So I'm glad you asked that. So,
let me tell you, you know the guys, the Arduin guys, right?
Yes. Right.
I have, oh man, I'll tell you, I highly recommend that you talk to them about how they managed to get these tubes for the maps that you can see them.
So I'm glad you talked about it, because what we planned on doing is we planned on trying to do a large scale, like 24 by 32 or whatever of the Xendria world map, and do a tube. We're going to offer that so people can buy a printed map, but we give you all the digital maps. But depending on how people react, and stretch goals, we may be able to say, hey, we could actually do the printed of some of the cities too, because I can tell you, they are over the top amazing. I mean, they are. And let me explain something. For those who don't realize this, we have these maps took 2 to 3 weeks for each map to be created.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I believe it. That's actually pretty quick.
so times that by 30 maps, 5 variations each, 150 maps.
We
Yeah,
had
that's over a year.
again
Yeah.
another again speaking again to the part of this with our give and take philosophy and not just helping the people who want to publish reduce their barriers to entry and be able to get out there. We also wanted to help many artists, both totally brand new to some who've been out there for a minute but maybe haven't really gotten out there, and we wanted to give as many people a shot and try to find the best products we could, and we think
It's
it's
reciprocal.
fantastic. Yeah, it's just
yeah.
reciprocal. They make money, they get their name out there, they're in all the books, and everyone will get to enjoy the fruits of that effort. And I think I feel it's amazing. We're very proud of the even just this one map. It's already a source of pride.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead and call up the other map if you want. Velistrio, it's another major city.
Yeah,
It's literally a city on a hill with towns within it. It's kind of really unique. It's a very unique concept in the world. That's why I like to show it when you see it.
Velistrio. I think I had it up briefly earlier.
Yeah, you did have it up for a second. So now to understand Velistrio and really get a feel for it, you got to really start to blow Velistrio up now, because realize those are all on hills, all within this bigger city that's on a hill, on a fortress. And then you've got these internal elements and regional areas within it.
Yeah.
I mean, just, feel free to scroll around it and see. So the nice thing is, you as a game master, you've got so much freedom to come in and do whatever you want to do with this. I mean, label stuff, do it. But I mean, look at this stuff.
Little amphitheater.
Yeah. And you hear about it because the city write-ups are really good.
Oh yeah.
And yeah. So,
I mean, there's city gates.
Yep.
Is that an old gate versus a new, like?
Yeah, some are hills, some are breakdowns, and then some are old and new. Absolutely right. Yep.
Okay.
Then there's inner.
So there's an inner gate and an outer gate. I see.
Yes, exactly. Yes, because they're all defended.
Different wealth levels.
Yeah, each districts, and they're all defended in their own. Oh, sorry, Michael. Yes, they're all defended. Yeah. Go ahead, Michael. Sorry.
No, absolutely. So you have that old growth, you have that new growth, because it builds out over time, and you want to represent that again back to that living, breathing world. The organizations need to make sense, and that helps the greater global scope make sense. Oh, you'll be able to see how the different factions helped build up Velistrio and how they made their contributions and their little subtleties to make things work better for them, but also helped the city as a whole.
Right.
This little nation state.
Tell me, what's the history of Xendria, like? I mean, how many years are we from? I'm sure there's
you've got
story and all that.
Yeah,
to it.
Yeah, there is a great story in that. You could imagine, multiples. You've got decades, but you've got centuries. You've got thousands of years involved, depending on so the level you go at, and that's what's so interesting, because when you enter the world, you're entering it right in the age of upheaval, and so what's happening? You've got some places being rebuilt. Some places that are still thriving, depending on where they were, where the scouring hit, what happened. There's this one lake that's got magical powers that they've shut down. They don't let fishing in anymore. Healing going on in it. And then you've got towns that were literally destroyed, or temples that were set up a certain way, and now because these things have happened, you've got new people taking over. Like I said, those dark elves, where they went in and took one of the towns that was destroyed, Leah, and then established an entire underground world sitting under it that most people don't even know exist. I mean, it's got all this kind of stuff to it, all broken out. And then to make it more exciting, one of the next products we're going to come out with is we're going to do city books, where you get really, really detailed solutions on this. And to that point, our partner Troller Games, we're going to be giving away, as one of the free rewards you get, we're giving away the Engineering Towns Cast of Crusades book, which is a system agnostic book too. You get a free copy of this book for depending what you sign up for on the tiers. We're giving, there's just a bunch of things we're doing. Michael hasn't got into the STLs and audio stuff. Nope.
We'll get that when we get to the Kickstarter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So when we get into the Kickstarter, we can talk about that. But yeah, we're giving a lot of different things away. Matter of fact, Bob World Builder's providing a free thing too on some world building stuff that we're giving away. I mean, we're just doing a lot of cool things in the community to really just help just to give tons of value out there, even though you're only building, you're only paying for these couple items, but you're getting all this extra stuff in it. So
Yeah, it says it's got the 7 hills like Rome.
exactly. Yep, exactly. Yeah, you can imagine as historians, Philip and myself, and matter of fact, one of the writers, Brandon Crilly, he's written for Kobold and Paizo and others. But Philip and I have been world building for years and years, and we're both. He's actually originally from Greece, but we're both really historians, and so we take a lot from history and study of history, because I believe in, I know you're going to laugh, realistic fantasy.
Right. No, I'm with you.
Very similar.
I'm the same.
You
I'm
want
the same mindset. It's
it's okay if magic replaces something, but it still has to make some sense.
Yes, there has to be.
You have to understand the rules. Otherwise, how do you interact?
Yeah. Let's see, I've got the Kickstarter up there on a, let me see if I can find
it. So you can bring up the pre-launch page that we're testing, which is it's actually really cool to walk through, because it does give some visual explanation of a lot of the stuff you're getting in there and the like. So it is quite nice. And I think you're providing that link here tonight too to the pre-launch page.
Yeah, the QR code. If anybody's watching TV, they can scan the QR code and it'll take you.
Yeah, when we get that thing you've got showing in your QR code above it, when we get to showing the launch page, you'll get to see that book actually rotate pages and see it go through it live. Kind of cool.
Where is it? I have it up.
Yeah, don't ask me to fix it, because you're yeah.
I got a whole bunch of tabs up here, so I'm trying to find it here. Let me hide my page for a minute.
So Cam, I have a question for you, sir. While Jeff is doing that, what do you think so far, and what's your general impression of this? I mean, do you have any feedback? I mean, we'll take any positive, negative, what have you.
It all seems. I have been listening attentively while you guys have been talking here. It all seems very cool. I like the whole concept of having, and a few of our other guests have had similar kinds of products where you could drop it into, as you like. You could kind of take the different elements and put them in. So I think you said, and I think I'm understanding, while you have many examples in there, it really has resources for building your own elements all together as well. Okay. See, I like that. I like both. I like having the example and then also the tool set,
and every town, everything you read in the book too, when you read the world book, all throughout it has plot arcs, adventure hooks, everything. So the nice thing about it, you can go to any chapter, any section in the book, read about a town or city, and it'll automatically tell you these are all the different things that are currently going on in it. Grab onto any one and you can jump right into something with it. And then now let me share something about the adventures, Cam, because I think I'd like to hear your thoughts on this. So what we did, we took this approach that, because we are system agnostic, but because we're OSR, NSR, D&D, compatible, what we do is we literally, right out of the gate, the adventures, each adventure is all built out. NPCs, you get the files, you get the digital files for them. Everything's done for it, but you get playbooks, what we call play and stat books that we created for 5 different games. So what happens is you get a Shadow Dark playbook, you get a Nimble playbook, you get a Castle Crusades playbook, you get a Tales of Valiant playbook, and you get a D&D playbook. And then depending on where our stretch goals go, you'll get a Draw Steel playbook, a Daggerheart playbook, a Pathfinder playbook, a DC-20 playbook.
Dragon Slayer?
Yeah.
Have you thought about Dragon Slayer? Yeah.
That might be
and our D&D stuff. So the bottom line is, when you get these 8 adventures, especially if you do the first 72 hours, you get the one that, you get 8 times 5. That's 40 different adventures you've got to do with now.
Well, hold
Yeah.
on, Agile. I'm sorry, you wounded me. You left out my favorite point, which
sorry.
is each of the adventures is so there's going to be the 7 adventures that can be purchased as add-ons. Each of those is tied to one of the consortiums and tied to a space in Xendria. So you can have your players can either start there or have made it there as a result of their wanderings in the West Marches environment. And you will see how those come into synchronicity, because you'll say, hey, here's a challenge to come up. Here's a problem that's come up. This group would like your help, and they're going to try to convince you to help them. But each adventure will offer paths where you can the players can make up their own mind and go their own way. Maybe they learn something along the way and they're like, not sure about these guys. Let's support the other guys. Almost basically every single adventure will present a dilemma or a series of dilemmas in addition to the actual main plot point of the adventure. And so all of that is included into the narrative book in addition to all of those mechanical playbooks for each system.
So Chris brings up the Ides of March, which is funny because that just passed a little bit earlier, about a week ago.
Yep.
And that also happened just so happens to be my wedding anniversary.
Oh.
We got married on the Ides of March.
There you go. So Cam, I mean, when you look at that, then what do you think of that approach? I mean, I love, because you've got a lot of background here too.
Well, honestly,
there.
Okay. So my flaw or strength, however you want to take it, is when I run campaigns, I tend to go crazy with the setting stuff, and delve into backgrounds and 1,000-year history and all that kind of stuff. I almost never get to it in the game. So as I get older and my time gets tighter and things, this sort of resource appeals to me a lot more because I just want to get to the table and play. Yeah, exactly. And it's like when I can pop in something interesting that fits. I love that idea.
Thank you. Exactly. And that was one of the reasons that we divided up the books, and even within the adventures in different ways, is we're like, okay, hey, you just want to read and figure out if this is going to work for you. Just read the narrative book for that adventure really quick, scan through it, read the synopsis, get a sense of it. You don't have to worry about the mechanics. Don't worry about what system, because that's going to be in a separate file. You'll have that its own PDF. It'll have all the image files all separated out for you. And with the stretch goals, all the VTT integrations set up
your
for
tokens.
you.
Your tokens.
Bam, off the way you go for Foundry, what have you. But that way, again, you just jump in. We want people to just jump in and play, whether they're going to play at home and they're going to print out some materials at home, theater of the mind, or they're going to go onto a VGT. Just get in and play, because with this script, with the other materials, you'll be able to adapt quickly.
Mm-hmm. And with the go ahead, Cam. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to ask about what you said about the system specific documents or books. I wasn't clear on that. Whether
the playbooks.
Yeah, the playbooks. I like that's a cool idea too. Is it basically just you have your main book where you're referring to all those things, and then you just go and it's just like a encyclopedia of all that data?
Basically, you have your monster and creature NPC stat blocks, and the NPCs that are intend to be engaged with whatnot will have all their plot points, their knowledge sets, and information like that. But then you'll have any accompanying skill checks. So you'll have your references to the rooms, and they'll say, okay, for that trap, for this game system, for this trap, DC whatever, for this game system, CL whatever, etc. Right. And it'll just be a reference. But that book will, it'll have the map. It'll be all labeled rooms 1 through whatever, or scenario or scene or location, whatever, depending on the style of the adventure. And we have several different styles of adventures that we put through here. Some that go from kind of a shorter one session, like the Golang's Devour, which we're giving away for those who back within the first 72 hours. That's more of a 1, maybe 2 session one, to ones that are more like 7, 8, 9 sessions.
Because they're 60 plus pages long.
Right. And they have massive character agency and player agency to make choice that will not only affect what happens in that worldscape, but affect the players' reputations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, I like that. It's again, I don't I wouldn't have personally. I wouldn't have a problem just taking the system agnostic thing and applying it to whatever system I have. But it's certainly, that does take a little bit of time, at least to do.
Yeah.
It's not that you can't do it, but so that'll certainly streamline things for sure.
We're just trying to, because we're trying to make people realize, look, we want this to be easy as possible for you.
Mhm.
Because but at the same time, there's enough depth there for people like you, Cam, who want to dig in and have that stuff. It's right there also, and you can make it whatever you want. So, because these can be dropped in your world, or you can use this world. But the way they're designed, they've got that flexibility. We want, like I said, we want there to be freedom for the players and the GMs to create these positive experiences, and not have to go read a 250-page book just to figure out the basics of it to get
Right.
it at the
And one of the ways we've helped enhance that is throughout the adventure writing. What we've done is for some of the lower level adventures, we focus on introduction. We assume, or we take the assumptive stance that if you're looking at these lower level adventures, maybe this is introduction. It's the beginning of the campaign. Maybe players are new. Maybe even the GM is new. We provide the GM with a lot more coverage on what if. And then as the adventures escalate up, what we do is instead of trying to what if everything to death, what we do is we provide you with outlines of the different goals and directions and aspirations of the NPCs. Because ultimately that's what the GM is doing in that storytelling, right? They're enabling the players to tell a narrative and interactive story. But the NPCs have their own goals, just like the PCs, and they should be played accordingly. And we focus on that.
Which improves your theater of the mind, but then, which was great because theater of the mind. But then if you are using your VTT, having a token form is great. But then those who like miniatures, with the rewards, you're going to get STL files for those NPCs, so you can actually have them printed out and actually have
right at home.
Miniatures that represent them too. So you've got all three levels supported here.
Oh wait, got to add the next dimension, Agile.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
As another stretch goal, we're examining offering audio files, ambiance audio files for each of the consortiums. So that way, when the players either visit that consortium or they're doing an encounter with them, you can bring up that ambiance music to include with your adventures and just in those general dealings to increase and heighten that level of familiarity and recognition.
Cool. I was going to mention, again, so what you're simulating here is that these things are real things in the real world that are not just my PC shows up and so now they have to somehow fit in with them, which I think works great for the emergent storytelling kind of thing, where it's like, well, yeah, they're existing here and they have their own motivations and everything, and
right,
how it interacts with you is it's the opposite of being on rails because it has its own life kind of thing. You see what I'm saying?
Thank you.
That's the way I see it, at least.
So we don't want to give away too many spoilers, but one of the adventures actually starts off with the assumption of a huge amount of player ignorance. And over the course of the adventure, the players get the opportunity to figure out what the different groups, what's really going on with the different groups, figure out who's genuinely innocent or a victim in the scenario, if that's even the case, and who's trying to push what progress or issue onto the situation. And the players have to make serious dilemma style decisions on how they're going to deal with that. And do you go scorched earth? Do you just say screw it? Do you leave? Do you fight for one side, or do you try to stop everybody, but you have to spread your resources? How are you going to investigate that? Do you listen to the panic and you just go or do you go, this is fishy? And there's going to be many clues and many opportunities for those players to do that. And so this is how you do exactly that. Get the rails out, just uninstall the rails and let players go.
Chris is got a great
Thank you,
comment
Chris.
here. Yeah, it is a low bar, unfortunately.
It is a low bar.
I mean, there were some announcements that came out over the weekend from Gary Con, but I don't know.
We should schedule some time to talk about that next week, maybe.
Yeah. Well, we've got Dungeon Delver, Bill Sylvie coming on.
Oh, cool.
Well, I'm sure he'd love to talk about WotC.
Well, and I think as you scroll through this, you're going to find again,
Yeah,
it's 2 bars we're moving at the same time. Yes,
Yeah.
you're absolutely right, Chris. We want to get over that awful low bar for what's considered good, but also we want to bring down the barrier to entry to get to that bar because
Mhm.
we've been at that bar for far too long.
Yes, we
Yeah.
have.
that
So
right.
yeah.
Here's
So
our friend again.
yep,
It's our
that's
friend.
right.
She's back.
You
She's
know.
here to show you. Welcome, companion. At Fantasy Companion Workshops here, we want to help you write your world. It's your story now. It's your world now. Let's go.
Yeah, zoom in enough so people can read it. Welcome, companion, to AgileMonk's Wondrous and Dangerous Consortiums and Xendria world setting. As duly appointed representative of the Astrologers Guild, let me show you around.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Smooth. I love it.
And Fantasy Companion Workshops.
Yeah. So
52.
just real quick on that logo, Jeff.
Mhm.
So that logo has these 3 like gems. Okay. So, I mean, 6 gems, and
Yeah.
each one of those gems represents some of the values that we're trying to do. Some is stuff for game masters, stuff for players, stuff for builders. Okay. Then stuff
Mental
for
health.
teachers, stuff for supplements, stuff for health, because we believe there's a huge aspect of TTRPGs and it being a healthy benefit to the hobby, whether it's the veterans that I've worked with in the VA, the fact that the 6 VA medical hospitals now support TTRPGs for PTSD and health benefits to veterans and therapeutic stuff, and to gaming with teens and teaching them values and leadership skills and the like. So those 6 gems represent things that we do at FCW that we want to bring to the hobby and really support.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, the FLGS near me is veteran owned, and he works closely with veterans. They're always. In fact, when I was in there talking to him, at some point in time, I'm going to do a CNC presentation there.
Sweet.
We were talking to him about doing that, trying to get the products in it. He was asking about things like spell cards and all those type of things. This was probably 6 months ago or so, but so I've been talking. Yeah, I mean, Chuck.
Well, yeah, of
from
course, yeah. And the
Solar.
new adventure spell book that just got kickstarted, we're creating the spell cards for it. FCW
Yeah.
is.
Well, I didn't want to
Yeah.
say that, but
Oh, but okay. Yep.
but you can.
Yes. Yep. We can say that. So yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the things, because I've got the backpack cards sitting up on the shelf
Nice.
there.
Yep.
They're awesome. It's a regular full deck, 54 cards. Yes, 54, because there's got to have a couple of jokers in there, and of course the jokers are Stephen and Davis.
That's right.
Naturally.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah,
But
they're great people. Troller Games, they're just great people. It's a great game.
oh, they're awesome people.
And it's
I like
literally, Cast
I love
Crusades,
their
and now that it's no longer OGL with the reforged version, no worries about that. But it literally is the game that Gary wanted if he'd have had his way over a 3, an AD&D 3 or 3.0 D&D. And so I like I said, it's my second favorite all time, only to AD&D first edition. So
Yeah, and people always are like, oh, well, it came out of third edition, and it's like, no,
no, it didn't.
no,
it didn't.
no, it did not. They
No, it
did
did
not
not.
want. Steven
Yes.
said, I do
No.
not want to play third edition. And don't get me wrong, I have a lot of love for 3 myself,
Same.
because that's what I cut my DMing teeth on. But and for a long time I was all about the skills. I'm like, oh, more skills, and then it's
More feats. Yeah.
and now more skills, more feats, more this, more that, and now I'm like, simpler's better.
And that conversation can go on forever. And the thing is I feel like I had a similar experience to you, because that's where I started with DMing and whatnot.
Mhm.
And then I got to the point I was like, okay, I can't hold it in my head. Every player knows a different percentage of all these different books, and they bring it all. It's just chaos. And that's why I ended up falling really in love with Rollmaster and Hero later.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Shadow Dark. I play in a Shadow Dark game every other week,
Mhm.
but I love Rollmaster because, man, the fine tuning over your character. And I know some people go, "Oh man, but it's such a pain to make a character." And I go, "Yeah, it's going to take you about 2 to 3 hours to really refine that character, but boy, is it yours! It's yours."
Yeah,
Yep.
I hear Acts 2 is a lot like very, very in depth and crunchy.
X1, but X2 is the ultimate AD&D game.
Yeah.
It's just, it's really serious. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Well, and it starts local and then moves global.
Right.
Pretty much, because you start out. That's the whole. It's what adventure, conquer,
Kings. Yep.
kings. So, but let's talk about the Kickstarter, because I know Cam has got to get here really
Yeah.
soon, because
Let's
he's
close
got
this
another
off.
show coming up.
Scroll through it. Let's go.
All right.
Cam,
So
ask questions as we go, man. Let's hear it.
all right. Yeah, and if anybody's got any questions, I'm gonna put the chat here on the side. There we go. And that should so if you see anything, point it out to me, because I'm looking at the thing here. So you've got two things: Wondrous and Dangerous Consortiums, and then the World Setting and Lore Guide. So the Consortiums, obviously, we talked quite a bit about that. That's kind of a this is how you go about it, and here's some examples, and that you can use in your world or whatever, or coming up with your thing. And then Xendria is this is all about the world that you guys have created.
Yep.
And we've seen some of the maps for that.
Yep. And when we get down to further down, I'll talk about the Xendria Worldbook picture and the story behind it. But for now, let's let Michael talk about kind of what's all included there.
So as you can see there, we're just shy of 200 pages right now. We're the only things we have left to do in the Consortiums book is once we finalized a few little nitpicky details with our licensing to make sure that it's all copacetic, it'll go in there, table of contents, and we'll be right at about 200 pages. Again, we cover roughly 66 pages of a few pages introducing you to what a consortium is. Please keep scrolling down, followed by how to do it. And we establish clear concepts that you can really shape in your head, the 4 pillars to shape your foundation. And we're going to go over each of these dimensions one at a time, but then also explaining how they relate to each other inside of each pillar, and how all that comes together to form one complete group that you can then. One of the best ways to be able to survive at ad-libbing or just a no prep session is, well, have a little bit of prep done for you, actually. And I know that sounds like we're talking in contradictions here, but something like an organization that's already this fleshed out is fantastic, because when you jump in on a play session, you already have an answer. You don't need to railroad nor do you even have to ad lib anything, because the answers are already there for you, and the gaps that are there intentionally. That way, when a player says, blah, 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 I wonder this, and you're like, well, that's kind of a gap. You can decide right there, how can you make it so they can approach that, make it possible, and now you can take that faction, that whatever, in whatever direction you want them to be. Maybe you want them to be the tyrannical villain in your campaign right now. Go ahead and start that way, and introduce a character that's going to bring about that feel, so that the players can learn that about the group, but you have a backdrop from which to work and gather that lore.
Yeah. What's in a consortium? Fully realized organization. Yeah, you've got we
covered some of this in the
covered that, so you can move. Yep.
All right, and then multi-system. You've mentioned that 5e, OSR, and NSR systems. Player-driven, yeah. Sandbox and West Marches. Now, of course, if you talk to Griff, he's gonna use Tonispork.
Well, actually, Griff would, because I know Blackmore and I've been around a long time. He would actually say, "Wow, these guys actually talked about what West Marches really is."
Yeah.
From the olden days, even. Not someone who decided what it was a few years ago.
Or last year, when they're like, "Oh, I'm going to do a West Marches."
Yeah, exactly right. Yep.
No, you didn't.
And it's okay to these things to evolve, but we do want to help people get a foundational start. We have, again, fantastic art characters with their sigils and emblems and everything to represent the level of structure, prosperity, and everything about these organizations. A lot of visuals like this here to help you understand how it all works together. And we need to elevate that bar above the giving me 5 tables, I rolled some d10s, and I've written my cult. No. We want to go above that and say, how can we get from that's just a brainstorm. That's a jumping off point, like an SNL sketch. You want to move beyond that and actually get onto with that next story. Family Guy did a great routine about that with Robin Williams.
Yep.
I was Robin Williams jumping off guy.
That's the real book, by the way. That's the real book that it's preaching.
That page flip, you can zoom in on that. That is Elixir actually took the book as we had it, ran the page flipper through, and you can actually see and get a sense of just how much. And we're flipping through the pages we already showed you, and now we're going through the different organizations. It's ready to go, and we wanted people to know that, because we want, as Agile alluded to earlier, we're going to be delivering within months. We want to get it within much less than 6 months. We're going to be ready for you once the Kickstarter is done and launched and complete right away, because we don't want people to be waiting in limbo and feeling that risk.
Yeah, that's about as zoomed in as I can reasonably.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's all you know.
It's good enough. Yeah. So yeah, you can. Yeah, I mean, so you. Can
we've seen some of that.
But the nice thing is every chapter has full page art. When you see the chapter art, it's going to blow you away. I mean, and one of the things is Rick Hershey, who's friend, he's worked with us for quite some time. The level of artwork and the quality and what we spent and what we put into it is over the top. So
it looks amazing.
Yeah,
thank you. Another fantastic hand-drawn design by Elixir, and no, skip. Go back up to that monster.
Yeah. That's
I zoom out, and it goes.
Yeah, you lose it.
Oh, okay.
So that's our bridging from OSR to NSR.
Yep. Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Agile. This one.
No, you go. You're right.
Okay. Yeah. So we introduce again. We're going to have the classics. We're going to have frost giants. We're going to have dragons, dungeons, even. Whoa! But we're also going to bring in what we hope will be some fun new concepts. I remember having this discussion.
Some new mechanics.
Mechanics. I had this discussion with this one player, and we were talking about kind of campaign starts, and I was talking about this discrepancy between a lot of times you'll have players totally comfortable playing the standard array of races, the standard array of classes, and they define their character in the story. But then you have a lot of players who come in and they're like, oh, well, I've played the human monk, wizard, whatever. I want to play a purple tiefling something bard, I don't know, referring to Critical Role, right? Or warlock or what have you. And this is fine, and this is all well and good, but I wanted to understand, like, what was it about it that some people felt like the original groups were so stale. Would you scroll down, please? And that was, and I realized it was when we often describe things of, oh, you encountered this middle-aged human. Okay, well, that's kind of boring. Describe a person. Just describe a person. I don't walk down the street and go, oh yes, that human over there. They certainly have. They certainly
you don't just talk about people like that.
No, I absolutely don't. And we should talk about characters like people. And one of the reasons, so one of the things we do for this is Elixir worked on this painstakingly, and she told me that she's not going to draw any more of these claw and tusk things.
Oh, there's three unique monsters in this one adventure.
There's 3 of these monsters. She did a fantastic job of drawing them for this adventure. But we don't focus on telling you the name of the monster. We describe each of the individual monsters to you as they make their approach in the shadows and the blizzard, and how you encounter them, because we want that sense of awe that should come with the new and the fresh. A fantastical world should feel both familiar enough that you feel like you can get immersed, but also fantastical to feel awe-inspiring.
Yeah. Yeah, I get you guys wanting to embrace both. I have tried in the past to allow things, and I'm kind of pulling back.
You get leery about it, don't you?
Well, Tabaxi Monk, okay?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was one of them, and then you've got the tieflings, and then it's
And
like
there's a perfect place for these. Sometimes there's the right spot in the campaign world. Sometimes it's the right campaign world, but sometimes it's just not a good fit. But
Right.
it becomes then the GM and the storytellers, the narrator's job, whatever that title is. You have got to impress upon them an interesting world where they feel like they can actually operate. And I've got to, Critical Role was mentioned. I got to give it to those guys in their animated series, The Mighty Nine. Some of the conversations those characters have actually do feel pretty organic. They feel that you can relate to seeing that in other characters in TV shows, sitcoms, whatever you've watched.
Yeah, I'm much more fond of Vax Machina than I am of the show. I don't know why. I just I get bored with Critical Role. I try. I had a buddy who watched it. He loved the show, and I just watched it, and I'm like, and when they were doing their COVID shows, where they had they were playing the different games, like the
Oh
telephone
yeah,
things and stuff like it. I found those a lot more interesting.
yeah.
But they're very different formats, right? And it's
Because,
helpful to understand that format. Again, it's back to that MMO discussion. This is not an MMO. This is a TTRPG.
Right.
We are not bound by the algorithm of the code. That's not our limit. And again, this is another cutout of Cathedral. And something that Agile didn't bring up is if you scroll down just a little bit more in that and you look in that lower right portion of the image, you're actually going to see, you're only going to barely be able to see it in this cutout, but it actually matches Japanese fortresses.
Did we lose you?
Oh,
he's there.
hello?
Go ahead and say it again, Michael.
It actually matches one of the mercenary company's fortresses that's embedded inside of the Mountain of Cathedral, and so you'll be able to see. Oh my gosh, they do directly interact with the daily lives of their fellow dwarves because they're actually kind of a front guardian gate, and then you look into their lore and history and go, oh yeah, they do have a little bit of political sway because they're so responsible for security, and this is how they make their money.
They secure the
Right,
the border. Yeah.
Yep, that's right.
They're the gatekeepers, if you will, to
the literal gatekeepers.
Now this
trade.
Oh, good. This is an interesting town because it's literally out there, surrounded by certain stuff in wildlife, but then the town is a big fishing town, so you have to scroll up a little bit more. So it comes in, and scroll down.
He means down.
Yeah,
up is down, down is up.
Yeah,
I get
down,
it.
yeah.
I get you.
But the city then builds up on a hill till it builds up to the higher area on another hill where you've got the real elite folks there and all that. But look at that inner basically
Basin.
wharf area.
Basin, yeah.
Yeah, right. That these boats are in, and when you scroll it up, you can see all the boats, dude. I'm telling you, everything. The docks, the boats, everything.
Yeah, I can kind of see them. Of course, this is on the Kickstarter page. So.
Yeah, which is low,
very tiny low
page. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you saw Valestrio. Yep. But what's interesting is there's a whole thing with some of the towns. One of the only things left to it is because of what happened to the scouring. It's become now a literally destination for pirates now, and so the level of piratery stuff that goes on. Oh my gosh! And then when you go over,
all the little islands.
go to that, but when you get in there, you won't believe the maps. When you see the maps of that one town and all the islands and how all the bridging network and fishing network, it's going to blow your mind. I mean, I'm serious because I tell you that because I worked every one of these city town maps, okay, with my buddy, and the effort that went into them. And then, by the way, because we believe that you should be able to move between worlds and different planes in Xendria, there's these portals. And if you can find these portals let you move between different worlds and planes, so you can easily move from one world to the next. If you're one of those type of games where you like to do that stuff, you have the ability to. But wait till you look at the beautiful imagery for this. Look at the imagery of this portal.
I think I almost put this one on the thing too. But
when I wrote the description of what I wanted to see, because this is also one of the chapter artworks, and he came back with this. I was so blown away. I actually forgot to respond to him with the thumbs up and the hey, thank you, because I was just like, wow. And I went and I had to show it to everybody and babble about it endlessly. And then I was like, oh, hey, Rick, sorry. Yeah, no, great. Thank you. Great job. This is great. No,
So-
we're in love with some of the.
So
almost all the art.
Cam's got to leave to go to the other show. We could keep on going. I'm fine with
Well,
that. But
we've only got a couple more things to show, so we can finish up.
Yeah.
But
okay.
Cam,
All
thank you so
Thank you, Cam. Thank you for the question, man.
You've been it's been an honor and a privilege, and we so appreciate the time you've given us.
I appreciate both you guys coming on, and look forward to seeing more and having you back sometime.
Thank you, sir. I really appreciate that. I really do.
Thanks a lot.
It's
appreciate it, Cam. We'll see you shortly over on Sci-Fi Snobs.
I mean, it really is a humbling experience to get a chance to share this stuff because we're so passionate about it, but at the same time, sometimes you can get tired of other people geeking out about their stuff. So the fact that you've been willing to let us do that is amazing. So,
oh no, man! I'm a geek too, man.
and Jeff,
I love this. I love this.
You and I have played in games together. You know how geeked out I am. So yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. I love this. I love this stuff, man. This is
So
awesome.
if you scroll down a little bit here, get past the threats and the plagues. There's this awesome piece of artwork.
This one I did put in the intro video.
Yes, yeah. There was a whole reason behind this artwork, but I don't want to give things away. But yes, it's amazing. So it's just like I said, it's awesome. So keep scrolling down some. I want to talk about this because we're coming toward the end of it, and I want to tell a story here as we keep going further down the page because. But the bottom line is you get to change the landscape. You get to do whatever you want with this. But here's something that we're going to show the Xendria World Book now. Now, I want you to look at this because when you look at the book and you see it come on the screen, you're going to notice that in the book, you see two characters.
Yeah.
An evil guy who's basically looking at the good side of the world where it's still beautiful and alive. You see a young squire who's got his sword up, who's looking at the world that's been getting burned down and destroyed by plagues and scouring. And that sword, when Rick and I did this concept, I said, Rick, what I've got to do is I want to show the sword as the division between good and evil. And evil's jumping over to kill the good, while good is jumping in to try to stop the evil. And that sword is the dividing play between the two aspects of this living world, because I'm telling you, when you read the book and see the stuff going on, there's just as much evil happening as there is good trying to figure out what to do about it.
Yeah. I like this. I love this book. And you're showing the hard. What will be the hard?
Yeah, that's the hardcover.
Yeah, that's the hardcover sample.
I am. I think that's the bottom.
That's it.
Yeah, that's
for the Kickstarter preview. Yep.
Yeah. And I do have it saved. Did you guys have? Do you have a notify on launch thing that is gonna happen?
If you do the saved, you'll get notified, and then we're also going to be sending some stuff out too. But yes.
Okay, because I know some of them, like I get a notify me on launch type of thing. So
yeah, so if they haven't, it looks like you probably have already clicked this, but if they haven't clicked it, it'll say, hey, please send me an email, notify me on launch, and then they can save that.
I may have.
Yeah, if it says saved, most likely you've done that and you will get notified. Yes.
Yeah.
And then the Kickstarter looks a whole another unique different because we were trying different looks and feel because we met with Asher, who's the head of Kickstarter, because fortunately our attorney and Asher are all kind of these friends and support each other. So we got some extra time with him, and he said, hey, try this stuff, try this look, do this and this with it, and do this and this because it'll tell a better story and all this. So we've been trying different things with the pre-launch, and then we got another kind of look in the Kickstarter, but we're going to go through and take all this feedback and do an update to the Kickstarter, the actual when it goes live one, where we ship books. And by the way,
they have the stretch goals and
yes,
stuff
right.
like that.
One thing we didn't talk about is everyone needs to understand this. This is going to blow you away, but if you sign on with the Kickstarter, not only can you get digital, so you can buy the 2 digital books, just get those and get stuff. But if you want the book, you can get soft cover version. You can get both soft cover books and the digital PDFs with it for $65. That's both.
I was just about to ask what the price points were. I don't know if it.
And that's only Kickstarter though. And then if you want the hardcovers and both PDF books. You can get it for $75. You can't even get a regular one-time book from WotC for less than $75 these days.
Great.
Right. And so we're going to offer both books for that 65 in softcover, and you'll get the PDFs. You'll get the follow-on PDFs that come with that, the Goling's Devour Adventure, and all the supplementary materials such as the engineering cities, all within that price point. Again, bringing down that barrier to entry. Yes, we would like to make a little bit of money off of this so that we can further the hobby, but we understand and we are very cognizant of the way things are these days, and we want it to be affordable for everybody else.
Yeah. Now, what if you want both the hardcovers and the soft covers and the digital?
Oh well, that's a good point. You could add that, but there is something you could do.
Because there are some crazy people like me
Yes.
that do stuff like that.
Yeah, well, that's interesting. So there are ways to make that work, but we're still figuring it out some. But for those who want to,
You could always do it as an add-on.
Well, yeah, no, an add-on,
yeah.
right? But
We
Dan
probably
Tesh,
will.
Dan Tesh is actually already he's such a great guy, Dan. But we have this one special tier that most people don't know about. It's a tier we have that we're only giving it to 4 people. That's why Dan's like, John, Agile, I got to be like first on this, because if you buy that one tier, not only do you get all the books and all the, you get everything.
Yeah.
But we actually work with you to build your own custom consortium, including your own artwork for your NPCs, your own everything. We do the whole thing for you, and we build it all out as a custom solution, but we're only offering it to 4 people because it's a massive undertaking to work with you. And you get to join our project collaboration site. You get to work internally with FCW's people, and we build all of this out for you.
Yep, we're
So
going to help.
I was gonna say, I don't know if you guys did get anything from Emperor's Choice or not, or how familiar you are.
Dude, I have everything from Emperor's Choice.
So you've seen these then?
Yeah, I've got the whole thing, man, including all the extra. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I've got two. I've got 2 sets of maps that they
Oh,
sent
dude,
me.
that's awesome.
Yeah, but this is the best idea I've ever seen.
And see, and we've been talking to Don about trying to figure out the tubing thing, because we want to sell the maps too.
So bad.
Do it with the tubes.
Because they are so much better than folded maps.
Yes.
I mean,
Right. Like folded cloth can be really nice sometimes, but for a more paper style map, that's the way to go. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, this is right. And you heard what these are, right? Where they got these from.
No,
they're from a company that I guess they have an umbrella stand that holds these in there that they use for the cons. So they actually
Seriously?
have
That's fantastic.
And they do minis.
I didn't know about that.
They do
Noble Knight
minis.
Games, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, so you may want to talk to them about. Of course, when you cast a mini, it's a little different than the STLs. I think they have to be able to. There may be some structural differences, as I recall. That
yes, depending on the format of the mini and whether you're going to use a resin or a direct extrusion printer, you might need supports in different ways or whatnot.
Well, I mean, no, they do metal minis. They do.
Oh yeah, yes, Noble Knight Games, absolutely, yes. No, they do cast ones. I've gotten their World War II stuff in the past.
Yeah. Well, Emperor's Choice, they do. That's what they do that too. They're the ones who made these, the Arduino stuff.
So let me ask you, Jeff, out of curiosity, did you get the whole set of character sheets and all the extra stuff too?
Oh yeah.
And did you get the plug and play encounter? Yeah, all that. I mean, geez.
Yeah, and I have I got the plastic case, and then I actually had a flawed one.
Really?
It was glued on backwards, so their logo was backwards from the outside, unless you were looking through the opposite side, of course.
Oh, that's weird.
I took a picture, and I was talking to Shadow and Sun, and who he worked with them. I don't know if if you're familiar with him. He and his son did a lot of the art for the guys on the
Yeah,
Arkham
yeah.
project.
He's got a style that suited it very well.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. But these are the type of things, like these interconnections that where all these people they're all working together, and that's basically the type of network of close knit people you're trying to build.
We are, and that's the thing is and Agile will more readily admit this than myself, and more thoroughly. We're not that great of marketers. We're really into the hobby, and
We
so
create.
this is
We're
where we need
creators.
help.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want to focus on the creation, but you've got to market too, right? And so
Yeah,
we're learning some skills, and we're starting with that network.
yeah.
And by the way, Chris, it's great to hear you're a veteran. That's awesome. We just love
Thank you,
veterans.
sir.
And Michael was remember at 3 years old I got him started. He was speaking English and German and playing games. He's a smart kid. Well, he's a fully fluent Farsi speaker and writer, and was a human interface, as AKA he was an interrogator. And what's nice is he did interrogation. He had some pretty famous things he did. He helped catch a really key guy in his background. I don't want to really get into it on the live stream, but at the same time, he one of the things he also did that was really cool is he got to work with a lot of special forces, because I was in anti-terrorism for 8+ years, Middle East and Africa. Because he used to say, "Dad, I never quite understood why you were so insane, but after working with those guys, now I know exactly why you're so insane."
Hey, I went to Canada once. Does that count?
Hey, I actually got my Canadian jump wings awarded to me by the head of the Special Recon Unit's Brigadier General in Canada.
Yeah.
I worked with a few folks from the Canadian military when we were doing stuff in Afghanistan, specifically counter narcotics.
Okay.
They were pretty knowledgeable and really helpful at it during my time in Afghanistan. Yeah.
Yeah, Sci-Fi Snob, who's that's where that's the channel that we do our Babylon 5 retrospective on, and right now where Cam went to, he's the co-host over there.
Nice.
They have movie night. They're apparently it wasn't a very good movie though, so it's
Oh, no.
probably going to be a hopping thing. Amazon Women on the Moon. I don't know. But at any rate. Yeah, no, this is great. I think everybody should definitely. I'm going to punch the link in here one more time for everybody. If
Thank you.
you haven't, check out the Kickstarter. Make sure you save it. Tell it you want to be notified, and it launches on May 12th. So
Yep.
you've got a little bit of time. It's going to be really affordable. So from what it sounds like, that's
Oh yeah, because remember, like Michael said, we're not trying to do any money grab. We're trying to do something that's good for the hobby, and we want to build.
You see what's behind me, right?
Yeah.
That was part of a Kickstarter.
No, and heck yeah, but the thing is you want cool stuff, right? The end product should be cool, should be useful, have utility, whatever the value benefit is, it should be there, and we want to exceed that quality expectation right from the start, because we intend to keep doing this, and we want to keep benefiting the hobby. There has been so much that we've gotten out of it, so much that we've loved, and we want to see it progress.
Yeah. Well, I will definitely be in for a penny, in for a pound. That's my.
Hey, thank you.
I'm already on board. Agile just said, "Hey, so I'm doing this little thing," and I'm like, "I'm in."
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
But I'd like to encourage everybody else to. Anyway, let me run that video one more time. Let me see if I can figure out how to switch over to that one, and then I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here. But if you guys want to stick around after that, we'll have a brief chat afterwards. All right. Let's see here if I can find the video. All right. Let's see here. Well, no. Maybe. Yeah, we're doing it live. Oh,
We're doing it live, ladies and gentlemen. It's live.
yeah. I know I've got the video in here. Where is the video? All right. There it is. Video. All right.
Introducing Wondrous and Dangerous Consortiums and the Xendria World Setting and Lore Guide. What is Xendria? Xendria is a world of conflict, and Xendria is a world of peace, a place of magic, of progress, and of loss. Delve deep into the lore and uncover the secrets that lie beneath. Xendria is a place where good meets evil. In this living world where old and new fantasy collide, the right choice isn't always clear. How will your choices change the landscape? Turn the page and tell your story. It's your world now. The Xendria World Setting and Lore Guide, supporting West Marches and Sandbox games. Wondrous and Dangerous Consortiums. Consortiums are the lifeblood of any thriving world, serving as the beating heart of societies shaped by vision and necessity. The ultimate toolkit for serious storytellers and game masters. Coalitions, cults, factions, guilds, mercenary companies, orders, and secret societies. Discover how to create consortiums that are not just background props in your stories, but central figures. Say goodbye to bland NPCs. Create unforgettable experiences beyond the table. Engage your players deeply with narrative-rich adventures that allow them to explore the intricate workings of the consortiums and their impact on your world. Ready to play adventures for each consortium complete with battle maps, character art, intriguing NPCs, mysteries and puzzles, immersive scene descriptions, dark secrets, and moral dilemmas. Unlock the secrets to living worlds and continuous conflict with Wondrous and Dangerous Consortiums and the Xendria World Setting and Lore Guide.
All right, guys, that was great there. And I am going to go ahead and roll the credits. Thanks everybody for coming, and we look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow night. I am
Thank you so much.
a stream at 8 p.m. That's going to be our Shadow Dark stream with Knight, Lord Marius, and people. So better they can be on there. And then, of course, Wednesday on Sci-Fi Snob's channel, we do the Babylon 5 retrospective. Sunday, we are going to have the Dungeon Delver himself talk about Guac.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys are jumping in on that. That's the great underground online gaming convention. So
Neat.
if you, but anyway, all right,
All right,
guys, if you don't mind
everybody.
sticking around for a minute, and we'll chat shortly after that, and we'll go. I'm going to go ahead and roll the outro here.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.